Tonight, remembering a legend, Neale Daniher loses his long battle with MND. Special coverage live from Daniher's Way as we honour the man whose legacy reaches far beyond the football field. Neale's family pays tribute to their brave fighter, a beloved husband, father and Poppy.
This is Melbourne's 9 News with Alicia Loxley and Tom Steinfort.
Good evening. Australia has lost one of its most courageous and inspiring campaigners. Neale Daniher passing away at home with his family by his bedside after a 13-year battle with MND. Despite a decades-long career as an AFL player and coach, the 65-year-old will largely be remembered for his extraordinary efforts leading the fight against the disease he labelled the Beast. Alicia joins us tonight from the MCG, and it really was a remarkable life and now a remarkable legacy.
Well, Tom, there really aren't words to describe the impact that Neale Daniher has had, and the heavens opened here on Daniher's Way this afternoon at the MCG as we learned that the great man had succumbed to MND. And I have to say, it really feels like a great sadness has descended upon our city with the knowledge that we may never see the likes of him again. One of 11 children, he was a champion footballer, a brilliant coach, but someone who became so much more than that, raising millions through his charity and the Big Freeze at the King's Birthday Clash, which of course is just 2 weeks away today. Eliza Rugg begins our coverage.
A football legend, a family man and an extraordinary fighter.
It doesn't feel right not having Neale here.
A day we were all dreading arrived. Neale Daniher's battle coming to an end. Surrounded by his devoted family, the 65-year-old passed away at home. His determination was unmatched, choosing every day to find opportunity where others might see only challenge and taking the fight to the beast with everything he had. He loved deeply and was loved just as much in return by his family and friends.
With the passing of Neale Daniher, we all grieve for a great Australian.
This is devastating news.
For so long, Daniher has defied the odds against the beast that is motor neurone disease.
Because the beast doesn't discriminate, and neither do we. I choose fight. Do you? Let's play on.
Today, heartbreaking confirmation that battle is over.
He's absolutely inspirational man up against this killer disease. It's a really hard moment for us.
Leaving an immeasurable mark on those who loved him, who idolised him and who joined his army.
You know what I reckon he'd say? He'd say, nah, get on with it. We've got to beat the beast. Get on with it. Get on with the fight.
In Canberra, the country's leaders stood in silence, putting politics aside to pay tribute.
The difference he made can be measured in the national awareness and the tens of millions of dollars that he and Fight MND have raised to research a cure.
He was the best and fairest on the footy field and in life.
But as Australia mourns a legend, for the Danihers, he was dad, Poppy, and to wife Jan, a lifelong love.
My heart is really breaking for her. She's been through hell, helping him and seeing him. And so for her, it's a really complicated moment, but she's just remarkable.
Daniher will be honoured with a state service, an opportunity to say thank you to a legend who has left an incredible legacy. Neale's fight was never his alone. It became something bigger, something shared, and it touched the lives of many.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's bought a beanie, who's come to the footy, who's taken a moment to just think about how when we all come together, we can actually change the world. And he has changed the world. He's left it a pretty remarkable place.
Eliza Rugg, 9 News.
Neale Daniher's life, of course, was remarkable, but even more so when you consider where it all began. He was the third of 11 children, born in the southern New South Wales town of West Wyalong. But from such humble beginnings, he went on to stints in the big time at Essendon and Melbourne. Yet it was post-football that he would rise to the national stage and be crowned Australian of the Year. Brett McLeod looks back on his remarkable journey.
Football has a habit of producing great characters and every so often great people, and that was certainly Neale Daniher. A national treasure, Neale had a magical ability to connect, to inspire and to deliver.
I'm always overwhelmed when I've got an army behind me. They got my back they got MND on the back foot.
Neale was raised in Ungarn, a riverina town that he and his three brothers put on the map. In fact, he had 10 siblings, parents Jim and Edna presiding over a busy household. Neale, Terry, Anthony and Chris loved their footy, and it soon became apparent they were destined for the big time. Together, they'd find a home at Windy Hill.
Spent time with my brothers at the football club. Now, looking back now, special time.
A talented but luckless footballer, Neale only pulled on the boots 82 times for the Bombers, his body cruelled by knee injuries. But on a Saturday afternoon at Moorabbin in 1990, a moment he and the family had longed for. The first quartet of brothers to play for the same team in the same game.
I was happy to give it a go, but I was never able to have the athleticism to really be a good player.
While his playing career was cut short, Neale still had much to give to the game. In 1998, he became the man Melbourne turned to in its time of need.
A big win for Neale Daniher and his men here at the MCG.
Nicknamed the Reverend, Neale always wore his heart on his sleeve. From a wooden spoon the year before, he lifted the Demons to a preliminary final in his first season. Then in 2000, a grand final against who else but the Bombers.
A big day, yeah, I want to take it all in.
While the Demons were trounced by 10 goals, Neale had developed a love for the red and blue, a love affair that continued for a decade.
I have decided that my coaching obligations with the Melbourne Footy Club will cease at the end of this contract.
It was in 2013 that Neale's life was turned upside down when he was diagnosed with motor neurone disease, or as he dubbed it, the beast.
We need to fight, and I can't ask other people to fight if I don't fight.
His MND fight became very public. Neale wanted his story shared for the betterment of understanding, research and fundraising.
This will accelerate something that over the last 200 years, nothing's been done in Australia.
And when the Reverend spoke, people listened, be it players, politicians or fans.
Have fun, we will have today.
Neale was invested in the battle, even though he knew he'd eventually lose.
The disease will get me, I know, and that drives me to go, well, what can I do? Mightn't help me, but what can I do that might make it better for others?
The Big Freeze on Queen's birthday became more than just a football match. His march to the G was a pilgrimage, with most, if not all, donning a blue Big Freeze beanie.
I'm wearing a beanie in honour of my sister who passed away from motor neurone disease last year.
And as a man who loved a laugh.
Will we give up? No! Will we give it all we got? Yes! Let's go!
Neale took great delight in sending celebrities, athletes and former players down that Big Freeze slide into an icy bath.
Bluey will not be happy.
While Neale loved his mates and his footy more than anything else, he loved his family, wife Jan and children Lauren, Bec and Ben. He was a grandfather too.
Dad's always said that he never believed that there was nothing there for him to do. He took the philosophy of let's play on, let's find the opportunity, let's fight back.
The honours have been many, named a member of Essendon and Melbourne's Halls of Fame. But Daniher's legacy is more than football. He received an Order of Australia in 2021. And 4 years later, there wasn't a dry eye in the house when he was named Australian of the Year, speaking with the help of artificial intelligence.
It belongs to the entire M&D community. It lit a fire within me, a determination to fight for those who are currently affected and those who will face it after me.
And now thousands who take that magical walk to the home of footy will do so on Daniher's way. But it was this moment Neale wouldn't have missed for the world. His beloved Demons finally premiers after a 57-year wait. Then when the cup arrived home, well, guess who was front and centre? Quite simply, there was no one like him.
There's a saying, when all's said and done, more is said than done. And the mark of a person is not what you say, it's what you do.
Neale Daniher was 65 years old.
And as you'd expect, it was a very emotional press conference that Fight MND held this afternoon. Matt Tilley made the point that today really is about the Daniher family, and we would like to echo those comments to Jan and to Bec, to Lauren and Ben, who have been right by his side every single step of the way in his mission to defeat the beast. We are thinking of you tonight, and of course the wider Daniher family, and there are many of them, as we've spoken about. Bec, in fact, came into 9 Melbourne to appear on Footy Classified just a couple of weeks ago. I saw her downstairs. That was after the launch of the Big Freeze, and she's expecting her third child very soon. Neale, of course, outlived all predictions, getting to meet grandchildren he otherwise wouldn't have. So we really pause tonight to think of everyone in the Daniher family.